Hello, this is the Hebrew Hillbilly, Joe Perry, coming at you with producer Jeeves as always. Uh, uh, Wearing my nice wore out old Union shirt, my beloved Union. Wanted to talk to you. I just throwing that in there because you hear me throwing in things about the Union all the time, but I wanted to talk to you. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this. It's a great big fat I told you so. Yet another, and this seems like at least once a month we're doing this, but yet another politician bites the dust after everybody knew what he was, everybody knew who he was. Uh, uh, the news, the arbiters of the Fifth Estate, if you will, completely just glossed over everything that he was. Even the ones that mentioned it. I mean, only the ones that mentioned it glossed over it. Most of them just completely ignored it. And yeah, he turned out to be a big giant rape Nazi who lived off his parents his whole life. Yeah, the I'm talking about the Der Fuhrer from Mein Kampf, or what was the other one they were calling him? Mein Fuhrer or Main Fuhrer or whatever it was. Yeah, old Graham Plattner. Just another one. Another one bites the damn dust.
The other one was Main Camp.
Main Kampf. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, like I said, it wasn't a big surprise. I mean, of course, that homely little man from that one show, Rachel Maddow, yeah, he was sitting there talking all that trash about, oh, he just seems so suspicious. In some interview with another person, I wasn't buying it. I wasn't. Well, then why weren't you digging? Okay, that proves that you are not a reporter. That proves that you are not a journalist. When you suspect something as a journalist, you dig into it. You look into it. You try to find out, hey, why is this sack of shit's making my skin crawl? Maybe we ought to figure that out. No, you sit on it and sit on it until word came down that, hey, this guy is causing us a problem now. We want to install somebody in his position. So it's time to give him the old heave ho, and that's what it was about. They knew beforehand. It's a system of control.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It,
They don't, and this to varying degrees applies in both political parties, but they do not pick people who are good citizens. One, most good citizens ain't gonna really bother with politics. It's a slimy business, like I say. You're surrounded by people who ooze and ugh. But yeah, they talk about, well, why didn't you vet him? The Toys R Us there, Daniel Moraff. They did an interview with this guy, and this guy is the quintessential soy boy twink commie. I mean, he is literally the face of the Democratic Socialists of America. The yeah, it's it, there's a lot of people out there that are bagging on his voice because when he was talking, he kept talking like that. I mean, it was just horrible listening to this guy talk. Like listening to somebody grate their fingers across the fingernails across the chalkboard. It's terrible. But he was the one who picked and recruited and vetted and all this shit for Graham Plattner to get him in position. And at the end of it, you can hear his voice cracking when he talks about when I looked at all this. That was Graham. I mean, that was what caught me about it. Was I mean, you heard his voice crack. He was.
Fingers crossed.
Let's just say, yeah. Oh no. He was let's just say a Graham fanboy. Okay, he was. Yeah, I have a feeling that. Yeah, yeah. Anyhow, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But you can draw your own conclusions from it. This guy was. This was this man's. Graham was his personification of manhood. Okay, and look at what Graham Plattner was. He had a goatee. He looked like this. Yeah, that was the only manly thing about the guy. he he's an oyster farmer. He was a blue collar guy, and he went out and plucked oysters out of the ocean for his mom's restaurant. Uh, so he basically lived off of mommy and daddy his whole life. He's a womanizer, a weird sex weirdo. He just all kinds of just slime. Uh, but he seemed, when people looked at him, he seemed like he was, well, what it was he was cosplaying manhood. And this is what's going to tap into something that, oh, excuse me, my eyes are killing me. That I'm finding on the left. Men have been so demonized on the left. Everything is toxic. I mean, you know what toxic masculinity really is? I mean, look into it. It's easy to find. You hear that those catchwords that they throw out there. Toxic masculinity. Who wants to be toxically masculine? That's horrible.
Toxic masculinity is not masculinity. It's just being a fucking dude.
No, there's only one masculinity, and it's all toxic. Because to them, toxic masculinity is I can change the tires on my car. I'm not sucking on a douche flute 9000 with a man bun. Okay, it's I got dirt under my fingernails. I work for a living. I'm not a gigantic what's the word I'm looking for? Puss of a man. I'm not cosplaying manhood. I am a man. I fix things. I work for a living. Yeah.
Of course, to them, all masculinity is toxic.
Exactly. All masculinity
but
is
to the
toxic
people
masculinity.
to the people who at least try to give an actual meaning to that word, I need you to understand all the things you're pointing out as actual toxic masculinity are not masculine behaviors. That's just called being a douchebag.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what that smear is. The smear is against all masculinity. But they take, guys who get drunk and hit on women or treat them bad or try to spike their drink. Toxic. That's toxic masculinity. So is being a man. So is believing that as a man, it is your job to protect your family. It is your job to raise your children. It is your job. It's not the big umbrella that they make it out to be. That's masculinity. Being a man, working for a living, going out there, doing things like that, making life work, even at the sacrifice of your own health or at your own desires. That's masculinity. The toxic masculinity that they're talking about is simply, like I said, a catchphrase to put men, especially men, who don't want to be, and I have absolutely no give a shit left in me, so I couldn't care what you can call me a racist, you can call me a sexist, you can call me whatever the hell you want, and to me that's simply your opinion. And if I actually wanted your opinion, I'd scrape it off my zipper. But I don't want your opinion, so I don't really give a shit. But there are people out there who do worry if somebody screams racist at them or toxic masculinity or sexist or something like that. It bothers them. You need to get over the words that people are calling you, because those words, toxic masculinity, racist for the most part anymore in America, sexist, homophobe, xenophobe, what I call them is the istophobes. And you'll hear me say this because I haven't got the 3 hours it's going to take. It's just like I call the alphabet soup, that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, plus, minus, greater than, less than, times, divided by all the damn symbols that have been mushed together to make the alphabet soup. Okay. Anyhow, you'll hear me say the alphabet soup, people.
There's an actual word for it. I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay, but that's the same as what I like, because you're sexist, racist, homophobe, thisophobe, thatophobe, so I just call them istophobe. That's what you're going to be called, an istophobe. If you're going to be called some kind of an istophobe, yeah, you really, really got to thicken that skin on you. You know what I'm saying? Got to thicken it up. Because life is going to be hard. If you're lucky, only 75% of the time. If you're average, about 85% of the time. And if your life really sucks, about 99% of the time. but people, there will be the slings and arrows that are thrown at you by everybody, and it's if you let every little injury scar you, it's going to take a toll on you, man. And this
Godwin's
is
law, that's what it's called.
Godwin's law.
Yeah, Godwin's law basically is that the longer an argument goes on, the more likely somebody's going to be accused of being a Nazi for no reason.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, a Nazi or an istophobe,
Yes.
or yeah, and that's yeah, because a fascist fits into that.
Yeah.
Xenophobe fits into that. I mean, basically what the difference between a socialist, and this is the truth, the difference between a socialist and a fascist in practical application and actual political application is socialists tend to be internationalists, and fascists tend to be nationalist or at least xenophobic, worried about others. But that's literally the financial systems are the same. You are allowed to own private property if you're down with the party. You're heavily taxed, that kind of thing. Now, communism, you're not. You're just not allowed to own any private property. Everybody works their asses off, and everybody dies poor. So
Another word for it. This is actually a real word that the fucking person who coined the term. It's also known as the reducto ad Hitlerium fallacy.
I like that. I'm gonna use that. Reducto ad Hitlerium. Okay.
Fallacy.
Okay, I love that. That is awesome. I'm definitely going to use that one. But at any rate, I got off on a tangent here.
You do that.
Yeah, I do that. That's I'm known for that. That's some of these these videos run a little long because of that. But it's what we really want to get into on the second part of this. Oh, excuse me. Is life skills. And one of the most important life skills that you can learn and that will be most helpful to you in the world is to grow a thick skin and really get out there and exercise and build up your not give a shit. You really have to like old Ricky and the boss says, when he gets on the phone and calls when his boss bitches at him about something, he calls the First National Bank of fucks to check his balance, and yeah, he's zero balance on give a fucks. So yeah, he don't give a shit. You just gotta really don't give a shit. I mean, people are gonna talk shit to you, and they're gonna trash you. You you can't let that affect you. Okay. Failure is another thing. Like I say, and this is the truth, you as a human being are going to fail on average probably 8 or 9 times out of every 10 times that you try to do something. Like old Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, and that's life is what's punching you in the face most of the time. You will have to alter plans. You will have to completely scrap plans. You will start out to do something, and by the time you've actually accomplished something, you will have gone in a completely different direction. And that's okay. That's life. That's I never, when I was a child, ever dreamed of doing what I do for a living now. I love what I do for a living now. I enjoy the hell out of it. But it was never something that ever even entered the lexicon. I never even thought about it. It was not a direction that was ever even brought up to me. But it's where I'm at, and I am successful at it. And that's something you need to understand. You need to be flexible. You need to be able to take, these are important, like I said, life skills. Take failure, and failure is only failure when it causes you to stop trying. Like what was it? I said, I'm paraphrasing here. The guy who stole the light bulb,
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison. When they talked about him spending years trying to develop it, he said that he didn't fail all those times. He just learned like 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. That was what it was, a learning process, and that's what failure is. It's a learning process, and that's what growing a tougher skin, and something that people, this is one thing, and I know I bitch about schools all the time, and we're segueing into the next part, life skills. You hear me last week, you heard me complaining about schools, but I don't put it all on schools, okay? When I was in my 20s, I had my own business. I actually had a job and had my own business. I was building my own business, and I was spoke to somebody about buying a house, using the GI Bill and all that to buy a house. And they went in there and they ran my finances. And in this time, I was making. This was in the 90s. I was doing well, making about. I'll put it making between 70 and 90,000 a year, depending on the year. And they had approved me for $250,000 in home loans that I could get. And the realtor that I was talking to started throwing variable interest rates at me, started telling me, these teaser rate things and all this, and oh, you can always refinance and blah blah blah. And like as like college, when they told me, all you gotta do is go to college, you get a degree in anything, and NASA will hire you to run the show, or that kind of. I was suspicious of it, and that's something when somebody's promising you a world of bubblegum and shoelaces and free hand jobs from hot chicks, you're suspicious of it. Okay, that's just normal to be suspicious of that. When somebody's promising you something that's too good to be true, it probably is, and it was. And our entire economy nearly collapsed because it was too good to be true. And I was told at the time, well, you can afford the payment on this is only going to be $2,500 a month, and being running my own business, hell, sometimes a contract would go bad, something, or there'd be cost overruns. There were times when I didn't make $2,500 a month. Oh, but you can afford it. You can afford it. You can do this. You can. No. Okay, let me put it this way: if you make $25,000 a year and somebody it offers to sell you a $500,000 house, it doesn't mean you got to take it. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to. You have to accept just because somebody's offering that to you. And that was the same with, like I said, with home ownership as it was with college. There, you have to use common sense in a lot of the things that you do, and there are, when it comes to school, the degree is what's important, but what's it's not the fault of the school, is what I'm trying to get at. That you spent $100,000 to go to a school for 4 years, or $80,000 to go to a school for 4 years to study poetry or gender studies or something stupid. Now the government is stepping in, and I'm not always a big government step in kind of guy, but now they're trying to do some kind of a metric to determine potential earnings of degrees based on the actual cost of the degree. And if the potential earning of the degree isn't enough to cover the cost of the degree, then I guess the government's going to stop giving loans for that kind of. I don't know what's happening here, and I don't know if it'll even happen. But it's about personal responsibility. That's what it's. It's what everything is in a free society. It's something we haven't taught our kids. There's a generational yo-yo that we have. Our parents and their parents and their parents have been on the same yo-yo, the same plane that we are on. The old hard times make hard men, who create soft times that create soft men, who create hard times, and on and on. And there's truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. Uh, you had the greatest generation who created uh, great things. They did great things. They recovered the economy of the country. They done amazing things. Faced depression, World War, just incredible adversity. and then gave birth to the baby boom generation. And there are members of the baby boom generation. I'm not going to give you a sweeping indictments, but there are members of the baby boom generation. There are that did some pretty good things and some pretty wonderful things. And those who fought in Vietnam, those who sacrificed in that tragic war that I have nothing but good to say about. But all in all, the baby boom generation was basically the shitbag losers of that we're dealing with now, who with their counterculture movements and their uh, ideologies of socialism and creating the great utopia, which never gets created, obviously, uh, gave rise to Gen X. And Gen X took a country when I was young in the 70s that was broken. You think New York and Los Angeles are bad with crime now? New York was a hellscape in the 70s, a drug-ridden hellscape. Gen X came along. We restored the might of the American soldiery. We restored the American economy. We built this country into the powerhouse that it is now. And we did the same thing that the greatest generation did to their kids. We spoiled the little shitbags rotten. We turned the millennial generation and the first part of Gen Z into some useless, sheltered, protected. I mean, just useless little fuckers. I mean, just impossible. That now want the same things that the hippies and the wackos from the baby boom want. They want socialism, free shit, gimme, gimme, gimme. It's the same rot. It happens and there was a situation in the beginning or before the greatest generation that of course there were outside factors that led to the problems. It wasn't just the generation that caused the rot, but uh, there was a big move towards socialism and anarchy at the turn of the 19th century, turn from the 18th to the 19th century, where you had to deal, you know, Emma Goldman and the different bombings, anarchist bombings, and the craziness. It's a cycle. It happens, and it's something we'll make it through. And like I said, I'm not bagging on the entire millennial generation. There are good ones. I mean, producer Jeeves is a good one. There are some go-getters out there, but there are some spoiled shitbirds out there that are so dumb they couldn't pour piss out of a boot if you wrote the instructions on the heel. And most of the dickheads graduated from college.
There's a reason that millennial is considered an insult even amongst millennials.
Yeah, no shit. Would you like to expound upon that, or are you just saying fuck those millennials? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you've already pretty much said everything there is to say. Millennials are they're almost as bad as the fucking baby boomers in a lot of ways. I have noticed, at least in some cases, a lot of millennials, as they've gotten older, have started to realize that they're fucking wrong.
Yeah, that they're like the old saying was whenever I was a kid. Yeah, your foot don't fit no fucking limb. That means you ain't got no place to rest. Get your ass up and get to work just like everybody else. That was. I mean, it's an old hillbilly expression, but yeah, that's yeah. All you're doing is by sitting around and bitching about wanting free shit, and that's what's led a lot of them to communism. And it's not, like I said, it's not the fault of the millennial. It's the fault of the millennial now that they are an adult and they are carrying forward that with this ideology that everything should be handed to me. These are the kids that used to be in their bedrooms playing some video machine and would text their parent in the other room to bring them a soda or bring them a snack. I know millennials that still try to do that shit. I mean, that are still living with their parents, pathetic little fuckers. But there's nothing wrong with living with your parents. I mean, there were, like I said, there were times when I was on the wrong side of homeless, and I, had to, hey, call my dad or call my mom, and
But there's a difference between living with your parents because you're having a rough time of it, and living with your parents because you're fucking useless.
Yeah, living with your parents in perpetude. Yeah, there's you
Oh,
get the
careful,
fuck out of there. Yeah.
don't want to do that hand gesture.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been called a Nazi.
Let me
I have.
adjust my camera.
Yeah, I've been called a Nazi. That was an odd conversation. And it was strange. Yeah, I was called a fascist and a Nazi, and I'm like, dude, I'm a Jew. And the answer to that was, well, you could be a Jew and be a Nazi.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You explicitly cannot.
That's the one. Nazis will take just a lot of people. Okay, even through history, there have been African, Asian, Eastern European, Western European, South American Nazi groups. Hell, what was his name? Uh, I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know why, but he was basically the transportation guy for. He was the one who handled the shipping of all of Pablo Escobar's drugs into the United States. He was a Colombian guy, Carlos Later, avowed Nazi. Okay, Nazis all through Africa, Nazis all through Asia. But the one disqualifying factor to being a Nazi is let's just say it's not being a Maine senatorial candidate. It's being a Jew. They're the one people that can't do it. But
there used to be a fucking joke about that too. You know, the Nazis. I know this is just a fucking rumor and it's not actually true. The Nazis hate fucking Jews so much that the moment Hitler found out he was a Jew, he shot himself.
Oh, yeah. Is that what did it to him?
That's what the joke was, but it's not true. He wasn't.
Yeah, obviously, I know he wasn't Jewish.
He was Austrian.
Yeah, but he did have some Jewish friends. The Jew doctor that took care of his Jewish doctor that took care of his mom, I think it was. He actually got him out of the country. He did. I shit you not. So it was like with all Nazis, if they're not going to be successful in Germany and they can't be a true Nazi, they just move to Maine and shuck oysters, or blow their brains out. Those are the only two choices. Maine, or as a matter of fact, now that I think that Graham Plattner was discovered, I do believe that he has booked a one-way ticket to Argentina. Okay, bad joke, I know. Anyhow, but one thing I will tell you, millennials, is that you need to get some life skills. And like I said, not just the life skills of emotional maturity, and giving a or not giving a fuck it has a lot to do with emotional maturity. The only cure really for communism is to really, as far as I can tell, be poor and working class. Get out there, get away from your parents, watch some YouTube tutorials when it comes to cooking. I'm an excellent cook. I'm a great cook. I'm a better cook than my wife. She'll admit it. I didn't start out knowing how to cook. I can work on cars, motorcycles. I can do a lot of things. Like frame a house. I've been in almost every facet of construction in my life and learned the hard way. But the most important thing to get people away, and if you still have kids in their late teens that are in your house, a good thing to do is to start making them more responsible for the things that they do. Stop catering to them. Xers, if you've still got kids in your house, start charging the little shitheads rent. Start making them work on cars. Start giving them life skills. As a matter of fact, my youngest son had some roommates who were let's just say they were crippled by the convenience of middle class life, and they were kind of annoying, but their parents, I guess, either started enforcing rules upon them or something, and they decided to hell with it. We're not gonna take it. No, you can't make me work. So they moved. They asked my youngest son if they could stay with him for a while, until they could get on their feet. And then they sat around and bullshitted for a few months until my youngest son, I hope and believe that he started realizing as a parent what I felt when he was a young man. And he actually taught one of them to drive and helped them to get their driver's license. He started making them do things for themselves instead of them being house guests, because they ended up being house guests for, I think it was more than a year. Uh More than a year, something like that. But but he, instead of their parents doing it, he instilled in them these life skills that they needed, and that badgering the shit out of them, telling them, "Hey, dude, you were supposed to be here for a few weeks. We're going on the second Christmas now. Now it's time to shit or get off the pot." Basically, was what he was telling them all the time, but at the same time, helping them and helping to facilitate their learning. And there were times that one of them came over and I showed him how to work on his car. I helped, and I bitched at him, telling ain't no, what kind of a man are you, living off of somebody else? That kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Not, I mean, a little bit of shame helps. If you feel shame for something you've done, there's probably a good reason for it. If you feel shame because somebody's calling you names, like I said, grow a thicker skin. But learning life skills, okay, learning life skills is absolutely the most important thing in the world, and failing at them. Everybody knows somebody who can do something. Ask them to teach you. They may be a little bit of a peckerhead about it, but ask them to teach you. The worst thing they can say is no. And then find somebody else who can teach you. Find somebody else who can show you how to change your oil, show you how to patch a blown tire. Somebody who can teach you how to cook. Reach outside your comfort zone. That is what is most important when it comes to life skills. You have to, being comfortable is a wonderful thing. I like it. I mean, I'm not that comfortable in the things that I do because I'm a constant reacher. When I qualified, or whenever I finally finished my qualification as an engineer on the railroad, then you have to go out and work different territories. It's a long process, about a year or so, and get qualified on those territories. I picked the one territory that everybody avoided after I worked all of them and been qualified and certified to run on them. It was a place called the Marion Branch. It runs from Marion, Indiana to Elkhart, Indiana. Nobody wanted to run it. It was old rail, old signals. It was hilly, towns everywhere, constantly changing terrain, curves like you wouldn't believe. My old joke was the guy who surveyed and laid out that rail must have found out that his wife was banging a railroad engineer. That's the only reason for some of the shit that was. I mean, you'd have curves where it was a hard run. It scared most people, and most people avoided it. And it was the first place I signed up to work because it scared me, because it was something that nobody wanted to do. Because when you got out there and you could run the Marion Branch, you could run anything. And that's what's important. You have to stretch yourself. You have to take chances. Be willing to fail. Be willing to look stupid. Okay? Because the only one that's going to be hurt by you staying in your bubble of comfort, staying insulated, is you. And the only one who is going to benefit from you stumbling and stepping on your dick and stepping on your feet and that little bit of embarrassment is going to give you skills. It's going to give you knowledge that you don't have, and it's important. And to grow as a human being, it's necessary to do those things. It's necessary to have that oops moment a lot. And I encourage all of you. I encourage every person who ever sees this, go out there, put yourself out there. Okay? Trust me, because you may be fearful of the humiliation of the failure, but the humiliation of the failure will make, when you succeed, that much better. It will instill in you a sense of confidence that you will never get from somebody else telling you how wonderful you are. When you finally succeed, that sense of accomplishment from what you did, that is gold. And I'm going to leave you with that, except to tell you, union. We need people. Okay, that's a good place to get out there and step on your meat, because you honestly got people who are going to take care of you. If I every time I get me an apprentice, every time somebody sends an apprentice out there, that's the one guy that I'm taking care of. I'm not letting an apprentice. Well, they're going to step on their meat, but not going to let them do anything that's going to get themselves hurt too bad. But I'm going to let them get out there, and I'm going to let them try. I'm going to let them do shit the screwed up way for a while until they start to get frustrated, and then I'll stop, give them a little advice, a little help here and there, because that's a good self-learning process. And like I said, the Electrical Workers Union, I'm not talking about just plain old laborers union, except or labor unions, except for the laborers union, the Leuna. Good place to start, but not those sometimes useful, sometimes not so useful. You started working at this factory, so now you're a member of the union. Pay your dues and shut up, kind of unions. Because some of those, like I said, not all unions are worth the trouble. But the skilled trades union and the laborers union, Leuna, is a skilled trades union, and you are going to learn a lot of things. You're going to work around a diverse group of people, an extremely diverse. You're going to have guys who just got out of prison on a 10-year beef, who reformed their lives, working right next to college graduates. I mean, and we're all just working together. It's you got to be willing to put in the hard work. You got to be somebody who wants to succeed, somebody who wants to do the best job they possibly can. But it's the place to go. Like I said, the Iron Workers Union, the tin knockers, that's the HVAC guys, the Electrical Workers Union, Plumbers Union. I'm sorry, not plumbers, the pipe fitters. Yeah, they don't like to be called plumbers. You're a plumber, dude. Okay, they're the pipe fitters union is like the Harvard of the skilled trades union. That
Man,
they have a feeling that they have this superiority complex, and they do good work. Don't get me wrong, they're excellent guys, but come on, dude. At the end of the day, yeah. Same with the electrical workers union, but that mainly comes with those guys cleaning up after themselves, dude. Unless there's copper somewhere that they could boost in this, you're not going to get them to clean up their mess. But I don't know what it is with those guys. And yes, yeah, we're not exactly, as operators, the hardest working fellows out there. But I do, whenever I'm out there, I try not to complain about my air conditioner not being the best as much as I possibly can when it's on, because I know there are guys standing out there without air conditioners. So yeah, we're all spoiled a little bit. But they are great places to learn great skills and be around great people. Check into them. Just say Pipe Fitters Union. Just say Operators Union. Just say Leuna into your phone. Look into the process. Find out where the hall is. Go down there. Just find a guy at random and talk to him. Okay, and tell him you heard about him on YouTube from the Hebrew Hillbilly. And this is the Hebrew Hillbilly, along with producer Jeeves, signing off. Shalom.